Good day. I'm wearing my unicorn onesie, and you will probably see me wearing this unicorn onesie in the next 4-ish videos because I meant to film yesterday and I didn't, so now I have to film 4 videos, and I just feel like sitting down and not worrying about stuff, you know, nice sit down videos. So today I am going to be sharing with you some Buzzwordathon recommendations. I am participating in Buzzwordathon and I am so excited. It's my first Buzzwordathon and I am excited, which I already said. So basically, if you don't know what the Buzzwordathon is you read books that all have the buzzword in it, and this round it is numbers, so you can read any book that has a number in the title, whether it be written out, whether it be like a numerical value, whether it be in like the subtitle or whatever. I'm going to share with you some of my favorite books that have numbers in the title so that you can consider participating. The first book that I have here is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr. This book I just recently read. It is a thriller, a very sexy thriller. So if you like anything erotic, or if you like thrillers but want something a little bit more sexy, I would definitely go for this one. Basically, this girl locks herself up in her apartment because she has the urges to kill people, and so she keeps locked up in there, and she works as a cam girl and she doesn't leave because she's afraid she's gonna kill someone if she does, and stuff happens and it is good. For me it was a little bit too much on the sexy side for me. Some of it made me feel uncomfortable, but the plot I really enjoyed. So that's The Girl in 6E. The next two are poetry collections. They're The Princess Saves Herself in this one series. So we have The Princess Saves Herself in this one, The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one, and The Mermaid's Voice Returns in this one. I have my laptop down here, by the way, that's why I keep on looking down there. But yeah, so obviously they have the word one title, and these are poetry collections about women. They're feminist and they deal with really tough topics of like feminism, race, sexual assault, all that sort of thing. But if you like poetry, I would definitely give them a try. I really liked the ones that I read. My favorite one is the first one. I haven't read the third one yet, but yeah, I really enjoyed these, and these are good for a readathon because they're poetry, so they don't take long to read at all, so you can, you know, check that one off of your TBR. Next I have Slaughterhouse 5. It's by Kurt Vonnegut. It's actually back here, but this is my favorite classic. I love it. Here, I'll grab it. Oh no, my hood fell off. Yeah. This is a book about war, and it's just a commentary about war. And quite frankly, I don't remember a ton about the specifics about this book because I read it in high school and I literally read it in a day, but I remember, like, it was honestly incredible and it still stands as one of my favorites. I need to reread it so that I know that I still love it just as much. But one thing I can tell you is that Kurt Vonnegut's endings are always incredible, and so if you're looking for something with a great ending, definitely go for this one. Or a class, like, I literally read this in one day, so it's perfect for a readathon. Oh, okay, there you go. The next one that I have is 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. If you haven't read 6 of Crows yet, I don't know what you're doing. This works for the readathon, so there's an excuse right there. It's about 6 people and they go on a heist, and it's incredible. It's like has the misfits trope kind of. It's amazing. I really like it. It's a beautiful book. I was considering rereading it, but I don't think I will because it is a little bit longer. However, I do think it's like addicting and you will get through it quickly. I read the second book in this series in no time at all, so it does go by quick even though it's a little bit thicker, and it's so worth it because the story is incredible. The next one that I have is Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. This is great if you're looking for an adult fiction. It doesn't have any romance in it or anything, I don't think. It's essentially about this girl who gets a job at a bookstore, and it's just a book about books, and we all love that. So I really enjoyed it. I recommend it, and again, it's pretty short, so you can get through it pretty quickly. The next one that I have is November 9 by Colleen Hoover. I know that this is controversial. She's a controversial author, but I really liked November 9 when I read it. A lot of people didn't, and I understand that there's problematic elements to it. However, I think it's still possible to like a book even though it's problematic, as long as you recognize it. So I'm gonna put it out here anyways. November 9 is about a girl and a guy who decide to meet on November 9 and every year, and it's just about their romance. And yeah, I would say go into it cautiously, and if reading about like potentially controversial issues is not something that you like doing, then maybe skip this one. Then I have Life of Pi by Anne Martell. This is actually one that I didn't like. It's on my bookshelf here too. I also read this one for school, but this is a classic book and a lot of people I know like it. I just find it a little bit slow, so maybe not the best choice for a readathon, but also I couldn't help but recommend this because it's Life of Pi, and Pi is his name, so technically it's not a number, but also it's pi, and that's like the most clever number ever. So that's why I'm recommending this one. Kind of shallow reason, but if you've been wanting to read this one for a while, I feel like it definitely fits for this readathon, so now maybe your time to shine. Then I have Split Second by Casey West. This is actually a second book in a series, so it's a duology, so I would say read the first one obviously before the second one, but I thought I'd recommend it anyways because it does have this word second in the title, which does count, as BooksandLala mentioned in her announcement video. I'll leave that link down below, by the way. The first book in the series is one of my favorites. It was Casey West's debut, I believe, and it is more fantastical. Essentially, this girl has the ability to see into the future when she is set up with a choice. So at the beginning of the book, her parents say that they're getting a divorce, and she has to decide whether or not she's going to live with her dad or live with her mom. And so the book follows two perspectives: her in the future if she goes and lives with her dad, and her in the future if she goes and lives with her mom. And it's amazing. It's the best use of a love triangle like ever, and I know that might turn some people off, but definitely give it a try. I love this book. And then Split Second is the second one. I didn't like it quite as much, but again, like, these books are so quick and Casey West's writing style is so easy to read, so it's perfect for a readathon. And I would say, like, if it were me, I would read Pivot Point the weekend before and then go straight into Split Second once the readathon starts, because you can just do that. You can just read fast and it's amazing. So definitely, also if you've read the first one but not the second one, this is a perfect excuse to just do that. The next one that I have is Four by Veronica Roth. This is a collection of short stories from the Divergent series, and I feel like this is a weird recommendation because a lot of people are kind of done with the whole Divergent thing or have already read this. But if you haven't read this and you've read the whole Divergent series, I would recommend it. I really liked it when I read it. Again, I read it a long time ago when it was a big thing, so I am not entirely sure, you know, it's your call, but it fits perfectly for the prompt, and I really enjoyed the short stories. Four was one of my favorite characters, and after reading Allegiant, in which I really didn't like him as a character, this kind of redeemed him for me again. So I'm just saying, if you haven't read it, it's a short story collection, and which is perfect for readathons, and it's literally a number, so just gonna leave that out there. Speaking of anthologies, I have two other anthology recommendations. I could only find two because most of the collections that I have read don't have like the subtitle with a number in it. These two are probably some of the most popular ones on BookTube, but I'm just saying they're still good. The first one is Because You Love to Hate Me, which is 13 Tales of Villainy. This was edited by Amory, and if you haven't heard of this, I'm shocked. Basically, a bunch of booktubers got together with authors. They gave them prompts to write about villains, and then the authors wrote the story, and the booktubers wrote their little thingy at the end. I didn't like the booktuber part, to be honest. I thought that it was really cool how they collaborated and got prompts and stuff, but a lot of the time their commentary at the end didn't do anything for me, but the stories were pretty good, especially the second half I enjoyed a lot more than the first. But if you haven't read this, I think that it's a really good anthology. I think a lot of people will enjoy it, and it kind of turns the idea of villainy on its head, and really uses anti-heroes as a, you know, it's a thing in this book. So yeah, definitely check this one out if you haven't already. And then I also want to recommend My True Love Gave to Me, which is 12 Holiday Stories. This was edited by Stephanie Perkins, and I love this one. This is a Christmas themed one, and we're getting close to Christmas, so if you're not a Grinch, I feel like you'll have no problem reading this at this point in time. But this is one of the most memorable collections I've ever read. I read this in like a really long time ago, probably 2013, and I can still vividly remember a lot of the stories that are in this collection, which is saying a lot because I kind of forget what I read yesterday, you know, I'm that type of person. So I definitely recommend this one. It's super cute, super sweet. They're definitely lighter than the villain ones, so if you're looking for some contemporary, there are some paranormal ones mixed in there and stuff, but mostly contemporary, so if you're looking for that, I definitely recommend that one. And I think in general I liked it better than the villainy one as well, but to each their own, you know? Finally, I want to recommend some comics. I'm going to count comics in my TBR because they have different volumes, and so I thought right now I'd quickly spew off a few of my favorite ones. The first comic is Chew by John Layman. This is about a guy who eats people. He's a cop, and there's mysterious things going on, or someone else, there's eating stuff. It's horror, so if you don't like that, then definitely I wouldn't say go for this one, but I really enjoy it, and it's a great comic book series. We also have Nailbiter. This is another one that is pretty gruesome, but again follows a cop. Very exciting. I might be getting those two a little bit mixed up. It's been a while since I read them, but again, they're my favorites. I also have Sweet Tooth by Jeff Lemire. He is one of my favorites. I think his plots are incredible, and this one has a really interesting commentary on race, which is fascinating, and this one only has 6 volumes in it, so it's, you know, it's one of the series that ends, one of the few that ends. Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. I'm sure you've heard of this one, but it is sexy and science fiction and great. It also has some commentary on race if you enjoy that. A superhero recommendation is Miss Marvel. This is the only real Marvel comic series that I follow because it's less confusing to me, but this is diverse, and I'd say it's definitely more young adult than the other one, so if you're looking for something like that, I definitely recommend that. Lock and Key, this is by Joe Hill, so Stephen King, and it's a horror about these keys that do different things, so each volume follows a different key. Really great. Gotham Academy is a boarding school with a bunch of teens. Fables is basically just fairy tales in real life. That one is also like a cop comic. Anyways, I'm gonna stop there. I could make another whole video about my favorite graphic novels, comics, and manga, but we'll leave it there for now. Actually, I lied. I want to mention Tokyo Ghoul. This is a manga, and it is excellent. Go read it. But yeah, those are all my Buzzwordathon recommendations. This is a little bit of a mess of a video, but it's fine. I hope you guys have a good week reading. Yeah, let me know what you're reading in the comments down below. Leave some recommendations for some other people, and I will see you in my next video. Happy reading. Bye.